Hello guys, I hope you're excited about VALTAN being released. This is my guide for the VALTAN raid. If you enjoyed running it blind with your friends, feel free to ignore this video though. Let's get to it. VALTAN normal and hard is about exactly the same, so the video will apply for both difficulties. Normal mode will require your eye level to be 1415 and 1445 for hard mode. If you're interested in build requirements, feel free to visit my other videos to learn more about it. This video will cover the VALTAN raid's second gate. VALTAN's important HP lines are 128, 110, 88, 65, 30, and 15 in regular phase, and 35, 25, 15 on ghost phase. Legion raids also have an Esther gauge. Viewers say it's similar to Limit Break in Final Fantasy XIV. Only the raid leader can use it by pressing Ctrl Z, X, or C. They are strategically used to go through harsh mechanics. Be sure to use them at the right times. To give a little description, Esther Thyrane does massive damage, Esther Wade does huge stagger, and Esther Balthor provides defense buff to the party. Battle items are essential here. 7 people require destruction bombs and 1 person require corrosive bomb. This is to break VALTAN's armor, which I will explain later. As for grenades, DPS usually takes flame or whirlwind. Supports take dark or flame grenades. Everyone also takes time stop potions. They're critical to get you out of unfortunate situations. At the start of the fight, you'll notice there's a lot of debris around the map. If you also see the minimap, you will see blue orb icons as well. You can also notice VALTAN's HP bar and his buffs. One of the critical ones is his heavy armor with ×2 mark on it. VALTAN's any normal patterns are able to destroy these walls and pillars around the map. You will need to try persuade VALTAN to crash into any of the pillars or the walls with his charge attack. Think of it like bullfighting. It will aggro one of your party members and proceed to charge after 3 prerequisite stops. If VALTAN successfully crashes into a pillar or the wall, he will get briefly stunned and you can see the duration in the UI. During this debuff duration, destruction points will work on VALTAN. The raid team need to coordinate properly to add corrosive bombs placed first, then everyone to throw destruction bombs later. Since corrosive bombs provide extra 1 points to destruction, the destruction bombs will provide total 4 points instead of 3, which all adds up to 28 destruction points. On estimate, VALTAN has about 45 points of destruction needed to break off his armor, so everyone requires to land at least 1 destruction skills on top of the bombs as well. If everything is done correctly, you should be able to destroy his armor on the first headbutt crash. The goal is to break his 2 stacks of armor buffs to remove his additional defense. Without doing so, you will not have enough time to kill VALTAN. The initial patterns are set and simple in the beginning. I believe this is because it's designed to teach you the proper raid procedures. Let's go over them. VALTAN will always start with a whirlwind headbutt charge. So as soon as the raid starts, everyone should just group at 3 o'clock position to get ready for his charge. Corrosive bomb can be used here because he will be stationary before the charge. If you're the aggro person, make sure to stand closer to 2 o'clock position because this particular wall will block his path if not aggro properly. It will cancel his charge too. If the charge has been successfully done, everyone must throw their destruction bombs and destruction skills to break off his first armor. If you successfully destroy his armor, he will try to headbutt charge you again. So the trick is not to do DPS, but group up position to get ready for his next headbutt charge. On the second stun, you won't be able to use your battle items here due to the cooldown. Be sure to land some additional destruction skills to make the later opportunities easier. Afterwards, he will use one of his triple axe swing to donut explosion normal attack. Good tip is to always stay close to him. You get hit by his axe handle, but it won't hurt as much as the additional inside safe donut explosions. This is a very critical normal pattern. You should always be prepared to dodge it this way. After the first 2 situations are finished, VALTAN will jump out of sight. Then 8 spears will fall down under your feet to a large map size explosion. You will have to hog a wall for this last explosion. Since these spears fall down to everyone in the raid, don't get close to other people to make it harder to dodge. Tip is to circle around in a small area for about 6 spears and proceed to hog any walls. It is important to use your time stop potion if you cannot make it to the wall. On a hard mode, you will die in the last explosion on an item level. Usually after this dodging mechanic, if nobody hits VALTAN, he will proceed to do another headbutt. So people need to move quickly to prepare for this third charge, which is usually the 9 o'clock pillar. If VALTAN proceeds to do his normal patterns though, he will do about 5 to 7 normal patterns before he does his third headbutt. Make sure his normal patterns don't destroy additional pillars. You may run out of pillars to stun him during the headbutt charge pattern. When VALTAN does his headbutt charge pattern, be sure to use your battle items like the first headbutt charge to destroy your second armor piece. Destruction should be a little easier if everyone has landed some destruction skills during his second headbutt charge. If you have successfully destroyed 2 of his armors, you are in good shape to continue the fight. The 8 spear pattern after jumping out of sight will happen once more. As for Esther choices, Thyrane guarantees 1 armor break when VALTAN is stunned, so you can use it to destroy his armor and deal some damage if the party lacks DPS. Now let's go over the blue orbs. It's crucial for all 8 people to take each one. When VALTAN reaches 128 health lines, He will proceed to smash the ground twice for a team wipe AoE damage. You can dodge the first gear-shaped explosion, but the second explosion is a full map, so you won't be able to dodge it. If you happen to take the blue orbs though, you will see an icon on your buff bar that it will block one Baltan's attack. This buff blocks Baltan's full AoE explosion. You cannot get more than one charge, and there are exact 8 orbs for a total 8 people. When you have the buff, it is crucial to not get hit by his initial gear-shaped explosion, because that will remove your shield charge and kill you on the second full map explosion attack. If coordinating blue orbs is tough, you can use your Esther skill to easily go through this mechanic. Esther Balthor provides shield buff for your party. There's a limited range, so you will need to coordinate when raid leaders is about to use the Esther power. All Korean pubs use Esther Balthor to easily skip this mechanic without collecting all the blue orbs around the map. Raid leader must remember the timing and use Balthor correctly. Timing is generally easy if you use it during 128 bars after Valtan's normal pattern is complete. When Balthor reaches about 120 lines, he goes into phase 2 where he destroys all the walls around him. All the normal patterns will be the same, but his headbutt animation is now counterable, so look for opportunities when you see him does the 3 stomps. When he reaches about 110 lines, there will be a cutscene and Balthor will jump upwards to the sky. Watch closely because Balthor will always jump out of sight and go to the center. Stagger meter will also turn into a lock sign if this special pattern starts. Also, for a funny note, if you stand in this position after dodging the first gear-shaped explosion, you will get to be in the photo zone. After the cutscene, he will choose one party member and spawn a huge red pizza and it will follow the aggroed party member. There are also 4 total stone pillars. Your job is to hide behind the stone pillars to avoid Valtan's full map landing damage. The aggroed person with the red pizza's job is to aim the pizza away from any of the stone pillars. The red pizza's damage is an instant death, so you can't get hit by this. The trick is to move away as soon as the pizza's following animation stops. If you do not have enough time or not confident to hide behind the stone pillars in time, using a time stop after avoiding the red pizza is also a good idea. After the first instant death pizza, he will proceed to do another red pizza. This isn't an instant death attack though, but majority of the squishy characters will die if it get hit. If any of the pizzas hit the stone pillar, it will explode after a circle warning with almost near death damage. So you must be careful not to stay close to the pillars when you see the red circles around them. My advice is stay calm and stay close to Baltan. Closer you are, you'll have less distance to get away from the pizza. From here, I will also cover major gimmicks that can wipe the party. 4 orbs pattern. Baltan will stomp twice and spawn 4 orbs in 12, 3, 6, 9 o'clock positions. It is everyone's job to take the orbs to prevent them from exploding to do a huge AoE damage afterwards. Baltan will always initiate a counter in the middle, so someone in the party can focus on countering him in the middle. For orb takers, focus on the orbs emitting series of donut explosions. They pulse in a timed manner, so be sure to stand on a safe spot before taking all the orbs. The explosions do push you around. Shield to stagger pattern. Balthor will swing his axe and gather dark energy with his hand. You will need to destroy his shields first before doing the stagger. If stagger fails, you can still avoid the damage by using the time stop potion as the orange bar disappears. This trick is what solo bus carries do. 3 counter pattern. This is one of the hardest mechanic for newbies. Balthor will do a war cry and prepare to swing his axe. He will glow blue for a counter opportunity afterwards. Problem is, if he gets countered, he will emit an AoE silence around the area, so exact one person will need to counter to prevent many players being silenced. He will do this total 3 times. Each time he is countered, the player who has countered will also generate an orb. This is the same orb that emits multiple donut explosions in a pulse. So center of the orb is safe, so the proper way to do this is to have all party members gather up in one position, and have one person who's doing the counter go up alone to Valtan and counter. And the counter person will need to go to a different spot so that they don't collide with others. Also, only the 3rd counter is the guaranteed wipe. So you can actually fail the 1st and the 2nd counter on purpose by lasting with time stop or support shield, and make sure to land the 3rd counter only, because only the 3rd counter is the wipe damage. Large war cry. Balthor will prepare a large war cry. 4 people in the party will be rooted in place, and you can free them by number of hits, not damage. The more you fail to save, the more damage you take from the explosions they emit afterwards. Getting hit 4 times by this explosion is an instant death. You want to either use flame grenades or use skills that have multiple quick hits to save your party mates quickly. Baltan also has a reflect pattern. You will hear a flashing sound and Baltan will do a charging pose looking backwards. You will need to stay behind him by his axe handle and stop your DPS. If sufficient enough stagger points are impacted to Baltan, he will do a huge 360 attack with a knockback, resulting huge damage or enough knockbacks to kill everyone in the group. One person can wipe the whole party with this pattern, so you need to be careful. When you reach about 88 lines, Balthor will proceed to jump out of sight with a notification sign that he will destroy a terrain. Either left or right half the outer circle terrain will get destroyed. It is smart to gather up in the center earlier to determine which terrain will get destroyed, because standing on top of the destroyed terrain will result you in death by falling. He will come to the center with a whirlwind attack, so be sure to stay away from that. There's gonna be 4 stone pillars again, so you need to stay behind those stone pillars. Afterwards, he's going to do the red pizza again. Make sure you stay behind the pillars for the roar, and then the person who is aggroed by the pizza should strategically place the pizza away from the party mates. After the pizza again, the stone pillars will get destroyed with an explosion, so you must stay far away from the pillars afterwards. When you reach 65 lines, he will jump out of sight again and land on the center. He will stomp the ground, creating explosion under everyone's feet, so make sure you dodge them first. You can gather up beforehand to organize the explosions, but the damage will be stacked, so make sure you dodge the explosion too, because it's going to kill you most of the time. Another fun tip on photo zones: standing on top of this area will show your character during the cutscenes. When he's done with the cutscenes, he will proceed to grab. If you fail the counter, he will grab everyone in his path. He does this about 6 times, and after 6 times it will be an automatic wipe. You'll have to either successfully counter him, or everyone needs to be grabbed before the 6th try to take the grab damage and survive. Problem is, the counter timing is extremely fast, so you need to know the timing. There are various ways people do it, but the timing I used is the sound. VALTAN will grunt twice. After you hear the second grunt finish, just press your counter. You'll land it 99% of the time. After everyone continues to fight until line 30, he will proceed to jump out of sight again to destroy the other Terrian. It is crucial to stay on the far right side because you can get pushed by his whirlwind and fall to your death. Afterwards, he will proceed to do the 4-pillar roar pizza pattern again. For people who have trouble distinguishing special pattern or normal pattern when VALTAN jumps out of sight, to determine if he's doing the 65 grab lines or 30 Terrian destruction, looking at the boss's stagger helps. If the stagger bar locks up, it's a special pattern. If it doesn't, it's a normal pattern. Line 30 is where things get tricky, but he will only do the normal patterns at this point. You will need to push his line to 15. One unique pattern I want to warn you is the grab pattern. VALTAN will raise his hand and try to grab you. You have enough time to dodge this. If you get grabbed by his pattern, you will die instantly by the damage or knockout. Rest of the party mates will need to stand behind them to avoid the breath attack. When VALTAN reaches line 15, he will teleport away. This will also push you away to your death, so make sure you dodge it. He will disappear and land on the center, then proceed to pizza attack all the sides once. Since this first pizza attack will attack a random person, it is recommended to gather up to proceed the attack, to dodge properly, then go back to the position again. Most Korean pubs gather in the 9 o'clock position when this happens. Then VALTAN will proceed to smash the ground to create 2 total massive damage explosions below your feet, with an outside-inside safe explosion afterwards, to AoE roar with 3 pillars to hide behind. You will need to hide behind the pillar first, then get to a safe spot. So dodging this whole angry pattern is extremely hard. So Korean pubs tend to use Esther Balthor to provide almost near invincibility defense boosts to dodge this pattern easily. If you happen to use Esther Tide Rain though, you won't have Balthor ready on this time. So you'll have to either dodge this manually or use time stop to safely survive this pattern. If your party is planned to use Esther Balthor, the explosions will still hurt you, so practice dodging the pattern while the buff is active. Those of you who want to know the time stop timing, you can press the time stop button as soon as you hear the double stop sound. After VALTAN dies with this last pattern, he will spawn as a ghost VALTAN with fresh 40 lines. You'll first notice the ×4 stack buff on normal, ×6 stack buff on his buff bars. Ghost VALTAN is a little different. He is stationary in the center, so you do not need to worry about him moving around. However, staying too far away will have you hit by his ghost charging for a roadkill. It is actually more safer staying close than far away. Remember the normal attacks and stay calm. Whenever he does a normal pattern, he will spawn ghost clones. People in the party will need to counter these ghosts to decrease his defense buff. If the party fails to counter the clone ghost though, he will proceed to do a large pizza or cross damages, resulting in fall death if pushed far enough. For those of you who are scared of the road-killing VALTAN ghosts on the outer side, they appear when boss's time shows the last digit as 7, like 4 minutes 7 seconds or 17 or 27 seconds. Lastly, he will do a grab pattern to a breath attack. It is a great DPS opportunity while he is charging his breath, but its initial grab pattern have to be dodged or it's an instant death. It can also be prevented with a time stop potion. This grab pattern will happen at 35, 25, and 15 lines. So whenever you see a normal pattern when HP is around that area, be aware of the grab pattern that's going to happen afterwards. On a fun note, Sophist can live even after being grabbed by spamming the spacebar. If everyone stays calm and proceeds to counter the clones and deal damage, VALTAN will fall without any issue. Esther Thyrain will also come back in time as well. Make sure to utilize his help to push the damage. So this covers the step-by-step major gimmicks. Lastly, let's go over some of the normal patterns VALTAN has throughout the raid. Feel free to skip this section if you are willing to take this head on, knowing just the major mechanics. 3 swings to explosions. One of the most memorable pattern. It is actually recommended to stay just close enough of VALTAN because his attack will create a huge inside safe ring that explodes twice afterwards. Don't worry about his second swing, you can get hit by it because it won't hurt as much. Front back front swing. He will smash front, back, and then front again. The third swing has additional AoE radius, so stay a little further than usual. Cross-shaped stone fragments. He will swing and proceed to do a vertical swing to create a cross-shaped attack. Staying on his sides will dodge this completely. Silence roar to axe smash. This has either inside or outside safe pattern. In order to know it properly, if the axe glows, it's outside safe. If the axe does not glow, it's inside safe. Also, it will create additional explosions under your feet, so make sure to move around after the axe impact. Jump smash to whirlwind. There are regular whirlwinds as well, but he can also jump towards an aggro and whirlwind backwards. So when he jump smashes, do not chase him, you may die to his whirlwind combo. Jump smash. He will jump and smash into a large pizza shape. If no one gets hit by this, he will proceed to do another jump smash at a different target. If nobody is hit again, he has a chance to do even larger pizza side smash after providing warning areas. Grab to breath attack. He will raise his hands and aim at one person in the party. He will proceed to charge and grab one person to a breath attack. Person who is grabbed will usually die due to damage or fall death. Whirlwind to memorizing explosion. There is a donut one and a pizza pattern explosion in this. He will tell where it will explode beforehand. If you stand still at the first explosion, you won't get hit by the second and third explosions. Smashing axe 4 times. He will choose a target and proceed to smash his axe 4 times vertically. He's not going to move. Staying in place will help the raid team to dodge this pattern easier. You don't want VALTAN to smash his axe around everywhere if you run around in circles. His force smash has a larger radius, so watch out for that. Jump out of sight, 3 spear drop to explosion on land. VALTAN will jump out of sight. Keep an eye on the stagger meter to determine if it's a special pattern first. Everyone will have 3 spears falling down. After the 3 spears, VALTAN will choose a random target and land on him. It is important for the aggroed player to ping the spot where VALTAN is going to land because it's going to be the outside safe then inside safe pattern afterwards. Outside inside pattern. VALTAN will place his axe down and smash the ground. This is an outside inside safe pattern. Explosion pools will spawn under your feet as well, so make sure to keep control of your movement. Teleporting charges. VALTAN will open a portal and charge away. He will proceed to teleport everywhere and charge. It is important for supports to use their awakening for this pattern because raid members will have trouble dodging this pattern. With that being said, this concludes the video. I hope this video helped you guys. I wish the best of luck to all who are challenging this raid. Personally, this took me more than 10 hours first tries with my streamer friends, but clear it was definitely worthwhile after all the fun tries. Don't be scared, don't panic, and make sure to enjoy the raid. As always, thanks again guys. Bye!